This is from Australia, Alan Jones.
6 million, 880,000 around the rest of the country. I repeat, this was never a pandemic. And even in Europe, as with the flu, people continue to be infected, but there are very few deaths. What price are we paying for what I said from the outset was irresponsible alarmism? Remember all that stuff about intensive care beds and how we'd run out of them? So thousands and thousands of them were set aside in hospital. And people who had other medical conditions were abandoned. But the alarmism continues, and as of today, there are 17 people in intensive care, 120 in hospital. 816 deaths since February, 8 months. Only 9% have died from coronavirus. The others have died with it. But over 450 people die every day in Australia. And to this day, this year, around the world, 9.1 million have died from communicable disease. Of note, there have been over 30 million abortions. Anyone worry about those deaths? 5.7 million have died from cancer to this day. No wonder the Victorian Health Minister, Jenny Mikakos, has gone missing. The two scientists from Melbourne University, whose epidemiology modelling is apparently recognised as world-leading, said their models did not support the extreme lockdowns imposed. Now, this is arguably the greatest public policy disgrace in Australian history. And it appears that Andrews is not prepared to admit he's wrong. Remember the Chief Medical Officer, Professor Brendan Murphy, saying, and I quote, "It's an horrendous scenario." This is early in the year. A daily demand for new intensive care beds of 35,000 plus. Well, the Queensland James Cook University Professor of Infectious Diseases Modelling, Professor Emma McBride, said when she detected the error that those figures were all wrong and her team worked out how it occurred, they contacted the Doherty researchers in Melbourne. They got an email back confirming that the modelling would be updated. That was months ago. Nothing's happened. The federal government were also informed of the mistake. They continue to run with the alarmist figures. They were wrong by a factor of about 400%. Then we were told, remember, the curfew imposed on Melbourne, 8 p.m. to 5 a.m, was not as a consequence of public health advice. It was part of a state of emergency requirement. Nothing to do with public health. Even people in the Labor Party have had a gutful. A former Andrews government MP, now in the federal parliament, Daniel Molino, has urged the Andrews government.
Okay, I'll just stop it here. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube somewhere, but this is not only in Australia. This is happening everywhere. Maybe it's worse there, but it's bad just about everywhere. The authorities are just taking over based on nothing, just using fear to increase their power. All right, thank you.